In the rarefied world of billionaires, wealth isn't just stored in bank accounts or offshore trusts. It's often hidden in plain sight, hanging on the walls of penthouses and sealed away in climate-controlled storage units. Fine art, with its subjective value in opaque markets, has become one of the most elegant and elusive forms of wealth concealment. But how exactly do the super-rich use paintings, sculptures, and installations to protect and grow their fortunes without drawing attention? The answer lies in a complex web of legal loopholes, market anonymity, and cultural prestige. Welcome to the shadowy intersection of art and ultra-high net worth individuals. A world where a single brushstroke can represent millions and a painting can double as both decor and a tax shelter. Art as an asset class. First, let's understand why art is so attractive to billionaires. While stocks and bonds fluctuate with the economy and real estate can be heavily taxed and regulated, art holds a special appeal. It's portable, subjective in value, and often flies under the radar of traditional financial oversight. A Picasso or a Basquiat isn't just a masterpiece, it's a movable bank vault. Unlike traditional assets, art doesn't produce income, which means it's often not subject to capital gains taxes until it's sold. And even then, there are ways to defer or reduce those taxes, especially when combined with philanthropy or estate planning. For example, donating artwork to a museum can generate significant tax deductions while boosting the social reputation of the donor. Billionaires also see art as a hedge against inflation. High-quality pieces from blue-chip artists tend to appreciate in value over time, especially when economic uncertainty makes other assets less stable. The secretive world of Freeports. One of the most intriguing mechanisms used to hide art-based wealth is the Freeport, a high-security storage facility often located in tax-free zones like Geneva, Luxembourg, or Singapore. These warehouses look like bland industrial buildings on the outside, but inside they contain billions of dollars worth of masterpieces, locked away from public view. Because goods stored in Freeports are technically in transit, they aren't subject to import duties or VAT. That means a billionaire can buy a Monet in Paris and store it in a Geneva Freeport indefinitely, without ever officially bringing it into any country. No taxes, no public records, no visibility. And because ownership is often held through shell companies or trusts, the trail goes cold, fast. Authorities would have a hard time proving who actually owns a particular piece unless there's a leak or audit. These storage units are like vaults for secrecy, wrapped in layers of corporate anonymity. Shell companies and anonymous buying. Another powerful tactic involves the use of shell companies. Billionaires rarely buy art in their own names. Instead, they use LLCs, offshore trusts, or specially created holding firms to conduct transactions. An auction house like Christie's or Sotheby's may list the buyer simply as Private European Collector or XYZ Holdings Limited. This anonymity makes it difficult for regulators, governments, or even spouses to trace who owns what. In fact, during investigations like the Panama Papers and Pandora Papers leaks, numerous art transactions were discovered to be conducted via shell entities, shielding the identities of the real buyers. Art can also be used to shift value between countries discreetly. Let's say a billionaire in country A wants to transfer wealth to a partner or relative in country B. They can sell a painting to that person for an inflated or deflated price, using the artwork as a legal method of wealth transfer. No cash is exchanged, and the art acts as both courier and cover. Number 5, valuation games and tax benefits. One of the slipperiest aspects of the art market is that valuation is largely subjective. While there are market comparables and expert appraisals, the price of a piece can swing wildly depending on who's appraising it and for what purpose. For example, a billionaire might purchase a painting for $20 million, but claim its value as $15 million for tax purposes. If they later donate the piece to a museum, they could obtain a tax write-off based on a much higher appraised value, say $25 million, thanks to favorable appraisals. This game of selective valuation isn't technically illegal, but it does blur ethical lines. In some cases, the same artwork might be valued differently 3 times within the same year, once for purchase, once for insurance, and once for donation. Furthermore, Art can be passed down through generations with minimal tax impact if structured properly. Wealth planners often use artworks in conjunction with trusts and offshore entities to transfer wealth without triggering significant estate taxes. Number 6, using loans to unlock art wealth. Another method involves using art as collateral for loans. Rather than selling a prized piece and incurring taxes, a billionaire might take a loan against the art's value. This allows them to unlock liquidity while keeping ownership intact. Specialized lenders like Citi Private Bank and Bank of America offer art-backed loans that range from $1 million to over $100 million, depending on the piece. These loans often come with low interest rates and favorable terms, since the underlying asset, rare artwork, is considered relatively stable and secure. This tactic not only preserves wealth, but allows the borrower to continue living lavishly without ever having to touch their actual bank account. And if the art is stored in a Freeport, the lender doesn't even need to move it, just tag it as collateral. And cultural capital and social leverage. Number 7. Beyond the financial advantages, art provides something money can't always buy: cultural credibility. For billionaires who want to be seen as tasteful, intellectual, or philanthropic, art is the ultimate status symbol. Owning a Warhol or a Koons gives access to elite art circles, museum boards, and private gallery showings. Lending a piece to a major museum boosts the owner's social cachet while keeping their name discreetly listed in exhibition brochures. Some billionaires go a step further and open private museums or galleries under their foundation's names. This not only generates tax breaks, but frames them as cultural benefactors rather than tax-savvy moguls. It's a powerful PR move that masks financial strategy as altruism. Controversies and crackdowns. Of course, the use of art for wealth concealment hasn't gone unnoticed. Several international agencies, including the IRS, Interpol, and the European Commission, have launched investigations into art transactions that appear to be vehicles for money laundering, tax evasion, or sanctions busting. In 2020, a bipartisan U.S. Senate report detailed how sanctioned Russian oligarchs use shell companies and anonymous art purchases to bypass financial restrictions. The report concluded that the art market's lack of transparency made it a ripe target for abuse. As a result, some countries have begun implementing stricter rules. The EU's 5th anti-money laundering directive now requires more transparency in high-value art transactions, especially those exceeding 10,000 euros. In the US, new regulations may soon require art dealers to follow similar reporting standards as banks and financial institutions. Still, enforcement remains difficult, and many billionaires continue to navigate these systems with the help of high-priced advisors, lawyers, and consultants. Final thoughts: the hidden gallery of wealth. Art has always had the power to inspire, challenge, and provoke. But in the world of the ultra-rich, it also serves as a sophisticated vehicle for wealth preservation and secrecy. Paintings become passports for capital, and sculptures become silent sentinels guarding fortunes. For billionaires, the beauty of art lies not just in the canvas, but in its ability to quietly hold millions, cross borders without question, and sit silently in storage while wealth grows invisibly. Until global regulations catch up with the subtlety of these strategies, art will remain one of the most beautiful and discreet ways to be rich. In the end, the art world isn't just about color and emotion. It's about power, privacy, and financial chess played on a global scale. Please subscribe for more videos